What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the numbers. These are my final thoughts for UFC 302. We have Islam Makhachev going against Dustin Poirier, and we are back after a 1-week break, and we're coming back to a very good card. Really looking forward to this card from a betting perspective. I have, I think, 16 bets, a few plus money sprinkles, a decent amount of action on the line, at least compared to the last several cards. And then also, liking this card from a fan perspective as well. Looking forward to this main event, Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier. We have a 5-round co-main event, non-title fight, which is nice. Strickland, Paulo Costa. Kevin Holland's on the main card. We now have Alex Morono, Nico Price on the main card, which I think is going to be a banger. And just some really fun fights throughout the card. So yeah, no complaints for me whatsoever. Really looking forward to it. Looking forward to watching these fights and hopefully making some money. Before we get into, if you guys could please do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, getting really close to 25K subs. Hopefully we can hit that in the very near future. And I do want to shout out the sponsor of the show, Prize Picks. And if you guys are not signed up on Prize Picks, now would be the week to do so and use promo code DFSBTN. Not only will you get a 100% deposit match, but they are doing a promo. And they're doing Dustin Poirier is over or more than 0.5 significant strikes, which means that Dustin Poirier needs to land 1 significant strike. And I think he can do it. If he doesn't do it, I mean, that would be terrible. But, I think he can land at least 1 significant strike. So it's a free square. I would check it out, get on there and get that free square into your entry. Again, DFS, BTN, you'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100. So yeah, we're going to be breaking down these fights, talk some weigh-ins. We had a big weight miss, a big gigantic weight miss. Other than that, mostly everybody looked pretty good. We'll talk some DraftKings as always, some betting, and we'll talk some prize picks as well. So lots to talk about. Happy Friday, everyone. Good to see you all in here. We got Olajuwon, first one in the chat, saying, hey, what is up, Olajuwon? And then he placed a $2 5-leg parlay to win $2.2 million. Of course, it's not going to hit. Sometimes you just never know. 5-leg parlay to win $2.2 million. You must have picked some crazy outcomes. But yeah, best of luck to you. I hope you hit it. I hope you hit it. That'd be insane. Useless present of parlaying the under 3.5 in the main event with everything. My favorite play in a while. I like it. I don't have any parlays on this card, but that would certainly be a parlay piece. It's coming in around like minus 250. I don't think that's a terrible leg. I don't see this fight getting into the late 4th round, 5th round decision, especially. Olajuwon saying Poirier sub. Okay, this is why. Poirier sub. Costa decision. I like that Costa. I don't mind that Costa decision. Cesar Almeida by sub. And then Romanov by sub. And Selecki by KO. $5 to win. Or $2 to win $2.2 million. So we'll see. We'll see. Jacob saying, I have a feeling this will be a good week for parlays. Yeah, there's some parlay pieces sticking out for sure. I don't have any personally, but there's some parlay legs for sure. Holland by finish minus 105 seems low. Worries me. I'm on that. Yeah, Holland should beat this guy. Mark saying, Brady, you are a banger. You're a banger, Mark. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate you stopping by. My biggest fan, Mark. Good to see you in here. Almeida off the main card. Yeah, they took Jonathan Almeida, Alexander Romanov off the main card, which I thought was pretty interesting. Almost Alexander Romanov fight day it is. We're getting really close, and I'm looking forward to it. He looked in better shape than I expected on the scales today. Sniper saying, let's go, let's get it. Brady, what's up, baby boy? Why would you call me that? Anyway, am I ready to make some money? Yes, I'm ready to make some money. I'm liking a lot of spots this week, but baby, that's the first time I've been called baby boy. I think not only on YouTube, but I think ever. I mean, that's a new one, but I don't know. Imagine Islam has a Hamzat type performance and he doesn't absorb a significant strike. That would be annoying. It'd be super. I'm hoping Dustin lands 1. Just give me 1 significant strike, Dustin Poirier. Is this card worth $750 tickets? No. It's a great card, but I'm not paying $750 for a ticket to go. It's missing a banger. I think there's a bunch of banger fights. Just 750 is too much. And then the same thing with next Next pay-per-view, UFC 303, the cheapest price is like $1,100. It's ridiculous. I wanted to go. I've been to the last, I think 4, maybe 5 international fight week cards, but I guess this is the first one I'm not going to unless I hit the lottery or something. Then I'll purchase the 303 tickets. But unless I hit the lottery or hit maybe one of these big props, I will not be attending. We got our Uncle Weezy in the building. What is up, Uncle Weezy? Saying, oi. I've done, I think, 2 shows already with Uncle Weezy. We did Stat Diggers on Sunday. We did Probability on Wednesday. And then tomorrow he'll be on Best Bet. So lots of content. I'm looking forward to a Best Bet tomorrow. We have a great crew tomorrow. We got Luke is going to be on as well, which I did a show with Luke this week too. And then also Couch Warrior will be on tomorrow. Thoughts on Kevin Holland sub 1-2 plus 360. The thing, I think it could be in any round is my thing. Like, I think it could be in round 1 for sure, but it could also be in round 2 and round 3 because Mikhail does slow down. Kopylov by decision at plus 390 is a steal. I was looking at maybe like a Kopylov decision only potentially, but I kind of think that fight finishes. Let's see. This is the worst body cam comp video. Well, Lou, you're on the wrong video. I think there will not be any body cams or cops, or at least I hope not on this video. There'd be a problem if there's any cops involved on this stream. This card is worth ripping off for free on the internet webs, though. I think I might purchase this one. Maybe have some friends over. We'll see. We got my guy, Joshua Frick, who I said needed some help on Sunday. What is up, Joshua Frick? He did sponsor the show, Joshua. He sent a nice $5 donation, which did sponsor the show Sunday. So we're all good. We're all good, Joshua. Favorite bet on the card, baby boy. I have a lot of favorite bets. That's the thing. We'll talk about it. We should all be so lucky to work with Luke. Yeah, it's a pleasure working with Luke for sure. Thoughts on the Romanov weigh-in? He was in better shape than I expected. Was he in great shape? No, but he was in a lot better shape than expected. And we got Cody. Appreciate you, Cody. Good luck to you as well with your bets. And I say we get right into it, guys. We're going to start with the first fight of the night. We have Mitch Reposo taking on a cheater. Andre Lima is a cheater, pumpkin eater. This is a guy that he's a cheater. I don't think there's much else to say. This is a guy, you watch his UFC debut in a fight where he fought another cheater, Severino. He got bit in that fight. If you go back and watch that fight, I kid you not, this guy, Andre Lima, grabbed the cage at least 6 times in that fight. So right off the bat, he's cheating a lot in that fight. And then he shows up today and he misses weight by like 4 or 5 pounds. I'm surprised the fight's still on, but apparently the commission's good with it. Reposo's good with it. Reposo wants to be in here. He wants to be in the UFC. He's been fighting to get into the UFC for a while. He's been in the Tough House. He's been on the Contender Series. So, Lima could show up 30 pounds overweight. Mitch is still going to accept this fight. But yeah, that weight miss, it heavily favors Lima. Mitch Reposo, I think he's a live dog here. I think this line's way too wide, but he has a ton of stuff going against him. Mitch has taken this fight on short notice, whereas Lima's had a full camp. And then Lima cheated and missed weight. He didn't only miss weight by like a pound or 2. He missed weight by a lot more than that. So I was going to maybe take a look at this Reposo money line because it is getting super wide, but I don't know, after the weight miss, I think it does favor Lima. I really do. Because Reposo is going to be trying to go for takedowns. What I don't mind here, though, is a shot on because I can do whatever I want. I can pick whoever I want, is why. I can pick whoever I want. But from a betting perspective, there is a spot that stuck out. Me, Luke, and Uncle Weezy, we talked about it on probability, and it is going to be Andre Lima by submission at plus 850. And it's one of those spots where I'm not sure it's going to hit, but I am sure there's going to be opportunities. I'd be shocked if Lima didn't attempt at least one submission in this fight because Mitch Reposo is going to go out there and strike with Lima for 15 minutes. No, I don't think so. I think Reposo is going to be going for takedowns consistently. And I kind of think Reposo's grappling is a little bit sus. So if there is a finish in this fight, and if Lima is paying off this huge price tag, I kind of I kind of think it's sub. So plus 850. I put a quarter unit on it. Small bet. Does it hit? We'll see. But I think at the very least, he's going to attempt some submissions. He has 0 subs on his record, but he is a black belt in BJJ. And Reposo's been finished by submission in his only loss. And like I said, he's coming in here on short notice. He's going to be at a weight disadvantage now. So Lima by sub would be the look. But from a money line perspective, it is absolutely dog or pass. I would not be laying anywhere near minus 270 on this guy. But you know what they say, cheaters always win. And this guy's definitely cheated today. That is a big, big weight miss. So yeah, give me the Lima by sub sprinkle. Thought about the Reposo money line, but it's going to be annoying when he probably loses like a close decision. But from a DraftKings perspective, I think it's dog or pass from DraftKings for sure. You got Reposo 7,600 if he's winning. He's going out there getting takedowns. I think this fight's going to play close if it goes to decision. So yeah, I don't mind Reposo from a DraftKings perspective. Let's see. We got LJ. What is up, LJ? Reposo knows he is getting a 3-fight extension, and they will resign Daniel Lacerda to fight him. I hope they do. I hope they sign Daniel Lacerda. I'm surprised they cut him in the first place. Andre Lima is going to bully Reposo, probably a TKO. Yeah, I think it could be super competitive early, but I think as the fight goes on, yeah, Reposo might slow down a little bit. Just curious, how much does 4 pounds make in takedowns? Just, more size on him. Lima didn't have to completely deplete himself to get down to, 126. So, yeah, I think it's absolutely a favoring Lima there at the weight cut. No worries, just wondering your reasoning. Yeah, I picked Reposo as far as like a pick, but, it's not something I'm confident in. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going against him. I just think this fight's going to play out super close if it does go the distance. Let's see. And yeah, it's massive. Weighing at 130 in a flyweight fight, that's absolutely massive. Does Romanov have a chance at all against Almeida? I really do like Almeida in this matchup, but he has a chance because both guys are super, super flaky. I think both guys have a little bit of quit in them. So I'm not extremely confident in Almeida, but I think Almeida should get it done. Brady, Lima should have brought out the box of shame, at least pretend like he didn't know he was exactly. I know, get down to 129.5 Lima, but yeah, Lima he's a cheater. He's cheated in every fight thus far, but I think he's talented. I think he's solid, but he is going out there and cheating. Bad vibes about Lima. Yeah, you don't like those cheaters either. But we'll move on to the next fight. We got Eileen Perez going against Jocelyn Edwards. And yeah, this is a fight I think I'm just going to stay away from. It's Perez around minus 190, Jocelyn Edwards plus 165. Edwards is a fairly popular dog, and I don't know. I have a weird feeling about this fight. Like, you watch Jocelyn Edwards, and there's just terrible looks. Quite frankly, there was the Carol Hosa fight where Hosa took her down and controlled her for 10 minutes. More concerningly, there was the Jessica Rose Clark fight where Jessica Rose Clark took her down and controlled her for 10 minutes. And, Perez is a good wrestler. Once she gets on top, she's heavy on top. She can stay there. But the reason I think I am staying away is there's 2 reasons. The first reason is that Perez fight against Pudilova is just like in the back of my head. It was a horrible look. Perez was completely gassed in that 3rd round. She was almost finished. Like, if Pudilova was halfway decent, she probably would have finished her. So that was like a bad look. And then also another thing that kind of concerns me is Jocelyn Edwards. She might be making improvement. She's still youngish at 28 years old, and she is training at a very good gym in Extreme Couture, which those guys over there have great takedown defense. So if Jocelyn Edwards is improving and her takedown defense is getting better and she is able to stuff takedowns, like, Jocelyn will look like the favorite. It's just I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen her be able to stuff takedowns from somebody halfway decent of a wrestler, like a Perez. So my pick is Perez by decision, but I don't think I'm getting there from a betting perspective. Maybe Perez in like a DGen parlay, because I do think she wins. It's just, I don't know. Minus 185, minus 190. Laying chalk on WMMA has certainly bit me in the past, and I still am scarred from laying chalk on Gina Mazzani, minus 160 against Shanna Young. Lupi Godinez, I laid like minus 300 against Angela Hill. It still burns till this day, and I don't want Eileen Perez to burn me. So yeah, Perez is the pick. From a DraftKings perspective, I'm completely ignoring Jocelyn Edwards. I think if she wins, it's like a robbery decision or maybe a third round finish, maybe. And then Perez, if anything, I think she's an interesting pivot play on DraftKings because she's going to be fairly low owned, and a path to victory for Perez is going to be the takedowns, control time, and all that. So I don't mind Perez on DK. And then from a prize picks perspective, if they took off the Perez more than 2.5 takedowns or the 2.5 takedowns, if they put that back on there at 2.5, I think the more is solid. I think she can at the very least get one takedown per round. But last time I checked, they did take it off. And I think for a good reason. She should go out there and get 3 takedowns if Jessica Rose Clark is. So, yep, not a ton of interest in this fight. Pretty sure the commission always allows up to 5-pound weight difference as long as the other fighter is fine to go. I think it goes maybe state by state, but yeah, I'm glad this fight's still happening. Lima, Reposo, we really couldn't afford to lose any fights on this card with 12 fights. Brady just got our tickets and we drive up tomorrow morning from DC. Let's go. There you go. Enjoy it, man. It's gonna be a fun card. I think this card's awesome. And so yeah, definitely enjoy it. Should be a good one. You might say Lima bit off a little bit more than he can chew in terms of that weight cut. Yeah, I like that. If Romanov can stuff takedowns that ends up on top of Almeida, he's going to combust. Yeah, I think whoever ends up on top is going to bust for sure. Pretty sure any more than 5 pounds is a no-go. Yeah, I mean, I think it all depends. But yeah, when you're getting above like 5 pounds, there's a really good chance the fight isn't happening. How well can Costa's power hold up versus Strickland volume and 5-round experience? I'm on Strickland, but there is another bet I do like in that fight. Perez only gassed in the third because she used her energy twerking to promote the OnlyFans. Good point. Something we got to talk about. Something that can't be ignored. Early parlay for me was Perez to win over 2.5 and Lima Reposo over 2.5. I think that hits. Perez has a face that is a face I don't like. I'm kind of indifferent in terms of the face. But we all have our preferences. How many hours left until the fight? I'm not the best at math, but like 22 hours until like the first prelim, and then maybe like 18 or I don't know 20 28 until the main event. I don't know, man. Oh, we got a donut. We got a $4.99 donut from Damari saying parlay this one. Okay. Edwards round 3, Gall sub, Rowe sub, Costa decision, Islam Makhachev to pay for your tickets for UFC 303. I might have to. I did do like a crazy round robin. I like those round robins. Just put a bunch of crazy stuff into them and see what happens. I know Lou Becci likes those as well. But yeah, if you hit something like that, you'll be able to pay for like floor seats for UFC 303. So yeah, appreciate you, Damari. I will certainly have to sprinkle that, and we'll see what happens. Apparently, they fought backstage last time Perez fought. She had a black eye and said Edwards sucker punched her. Yeah, I've been hearing some crazy stuff about what happened there. I don't know, but I guess they're gonna battle it out in the cage. Let's see. Jenna saying Lou. Max bet the under 2.5 in the main event. I like it. What's up, Brady? Glad I can make it in for one of these. Glad you can make it as well. And yeah, I was looking at the under 2.5, also around like minus 150, but it's gotten completely wrecked at this point. So hopefully you got in at a good number and beat some line movement there. Damari is the man. He is the man. He absolutely is the man. Tell us the round robin, Brady, please. It was like an 8-leg round robin with just silly stuff. Like I had, off the top of my head, Jalton KO. I had Dawson KO. I had Islam sub, which isn't crazy, but I really do like that. Holland by sub, just stuff like that off the top of my head. I'm maybe a fan of the nothing's wrong with the generational wealth round robin. Put a couple bucks on. I don't mind it. Kevin Holland under 10 minutes. Yeah, I think so, but I don't love it, but I think so. All right, guys. We'll move on to the next fight. We have Basil Hafiz going against Mickey Gall. There are two fights on this card that I just want nothing to do with, and this is one of them. This fight, I don't know. I mean, look at this price tag. Basil Hafiz is now minus 370. Minus 370. Mickey Gall is plus 295. I mean, I like Hafiz to win, but I don't like him to win anywhere near minus 370. I think Hafiz. I'm not even sure how he wins. Like, does he win this fight by TKO, by sub, by decision? I think it could be in any method. Yeah, nothing's sticking out for me. You know, Mickey Gall's taken a massive layoff here. Apparently, he's been dealing with like some back issues. It's hard to pick Mickey Gall to win a fight. I mean, this guy's fought and beaten like some of the worst competition you've ever imagined. You know, wins over guys like Mike Jackson and CM Punk, and Jordan Williams, probably his best win, which is insane. So yeah, give me Hafez. It's just one of those things where it's like I think he wins, but I think minus 370 is getting a little bit ridiculous. But yeah, I don't like a money line. I don't like a prop. I don't really like anything here. From a DraftKings perspective, I don't mind. The thing for this week for DraftKings is this top range is stacked. You have guys up top like Alex Morono, who can flatline Nico Price at any given moment. Islam Makhachev, my favorite play on the slate. You have Kevin Holland, who I absolutely love this fight against Oleksiejczuk. Jailton Almeida with a ton of upside. There's so many great plays, and I think Hafez, he's a good play. There's just other plays I do like more. And then as far as like a pump play goes, Mickey Gall, I think is worth maybe a couple shares, just like a dart throw, because he is dangerous. Hafez, I'm not completely sold on him, but I do expect Hafez to win this fight. If I had to pick a method, I would say decision, but it could be any which way, I think. So this is a total pass for me. There's, like I said, there's two fights on this card I want nothing to do with, and this is certainly one of them. I get Basil put in a good effort against JDM, but does that really make him minus 380? I don't think so. I mean, go watch other fights other than the JDM fight. I mean, he's losing, some minutes to guys like Anthony Ivy, and oh my gosh, he's gassing out in pretty much every fight. It's goodness, but he's going against Mickey Gall is the thing. So I don't know. It's just a big pass for me. I like Basil KO decision, double chance. Yeah, it could be like a TKO. He has some power, and Gall, Gall can be knocked out. So I don't mind it, depending on the line. How many hours before the best asses in the UFC touch together? What fight are you talking about? Are you talking about what fight are you talking about? Are you talking about Edwards Perez? Hopefully you're not talking about the Romanov fight. I'm pretty sure you're talking about Edwards Perez. How many hours? Off the top of my head, like maybe 23, 22 hours. Jailton Almeida over 7.5 minutes. I wouldn't, man. I wouldn't do that. I think this fight finishes. Could it finish over 7.5? Maybe, but Jailton Almeida has been over 7.5 minutes only 3 times. And how many fights does he have? 3 times in 23 fights. The one that went over was Derek Lewis, and then Shamil went over ever so slightly as well. So I don't love that. I think somebody's getting served here. I'm not even sure Romanov has the cardio to go 7.5. Let's see. Good. Gotta be careful. Some of these comments, Mark. Some of these comments. Don't want to pull some of these up, because I do want to stay. I do want to stay on YouTube. Good leverage play in the 9K range. Good leverage play. It would be like a Hafez. Maybe a Grant Dawson, because Islam's going to be extremely high owned. Holland's going to have some solid ownership. Almeida's going to have some solid ownership. So I think it'd be like a Dawson or a Hafez. I think those would be the two. GMP, I could see that. I could see it. Don't get Brady canceled. Yeah, the goal is to not get canceled. That's always a good goal. Hafiz is going to ground and pound Gall. I can see that. I can see like a 2-3 GMP. But do you think Oleksiejczuk has the chance to KO Holland? It'd be a shock. It'd be a surprise. But Oleksiejczuk does have power, and I think it'd be in round 1 or not at all. But I'd lean towards no. Perez is going to drown Edwards. I would lean towards that as well. I have a hard time getting a good read on Almeida after laying on Lewis for 5 rounds without punching him. Yeah, that was really weird. That was really weird. Gall is so bad he could survive here, but cannot see how he wins. Yeah, I don't really know either. Because I think he's gonna be losing a lot of minutes here. I think Hafiz would have to like gas out and like make a mistake. All right, let's keep moving on, guys. So I know this fight's on the main card, but we'll talk about it now. And by the way, that was super weird that they did move this from the prelims to the main card, but it is Alex Morono versus Nico Price, and I do have a bet here. I'm on the under 2.5 rounds. I have 1 unit on it at -130. I think it hasn't moved a lot. It hasn't moved as much as I thought it would. I'll say that. I think it's like -145 now. But yeah, I mean, give me the under here. I don't trust either of these guys, and which is funny because I'm going to say that about a couple of these fights on this card, but I don't trust either of these guys. Nico Price, I don't know. I'm a big fan of Nico. How can you not be? This guy's never been in a boring fight. He's kill or be killed, but holy crap. I mean, he's only 34 years old and he just looks done. His chin looks like it's complete dust. It's gone. It's non-existent. Getting brutally knocked out by Phil Rowe in the 3rd round, and then getting brutally knocked out by Robbie Lawler in 20 seconds. He's taken a ton of damage. Every single fight that Nico Price has, he's going to get into a war. He's going to take damage, and that damage is going to add up. We see it time and time again outside of fighters like Max Holloway, where he doesn't count. But we saw it with Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque's taken a ton of damage. Look at him now. He's not doing so hot. Nico Price, I mean, speaking of Vicente Luque, that fight was an absolute war. Nico Price took a ton of damage. That was the fight where Nico Price's eye was completely shut and he was yelling at the camera. It was bad. So yeah, I think all this damage is adding up. This is a guy, Nico Price, who has like 20 kids. That'll take years off your life as well. So yeah, I think Nico Price is certainly on his way out, as sad as that sounds. And then you got Morono, who I think he's definitely less washed. I think he's definitely going to be the minute winner here, but I don't trust his chin either. Like, it wouldn't completely shock me if Nico Price, pulled off this upset and landed a big shot, right? So I think somebody's getting knocked out, and just give me the under. Give me the under 1 unit -130. I like that. I see some people on the fight ends by KO. I don't hate it, but Morono, if I could see like a club and sub situation, so I would just take like the under, or like the fight doesn't go. I think somebody's getting served here. I would certainly lean towards Morono doing the serving, but something tells me these guys are going to go out there and stand and bang, and when that happens, Price does have power. So yeah, give me violence here. From a DraftKings perspective, both guys in play. I think both guys are live for a knockout. Nico Price is a very intriguing dog. He's super cheap. He's a finisher. Morono's been finished before by knockout. So yeah, Nico Price is 7,300. There's not a ton of value I like on the slate, but he'd definitely be a value play that I don't mind with some knockout upside. So yeah, love this fight. I think there's a reason they moved it to the main card. But yeah, I like that. I like it. I like this fight. I think somebody's getting served here. Let's see what you guys got in the chat. Islam to win in the round 2 starts -165 on FanDuel. Thoughts? Yeah, I hope that's the case, because I have some. We'll talk about it. I have some 2-3 props for Islam, but yeah, I would lean towards that. Dustin Poirier, when his fights typically do end in the 2nd or 3rd or 4th round. So, but I'm hoping it's not like late first for Islam. But yeah, I don't mind that. It's a great way to get that price tag down. Yeah, that's the thing. Favorite play in the mid-range on DK other than the Kopylov Almeida. So it would be the Kopylov Almeida fight. Other than that, I really don't know. It's a stars and scrubs week for me. Maybe the Jake Matthews Phil Rowe fight, but because you're kind of getting forced to. You kind of are forced to play some of these fights in the mid-range. So maybe the Matthews Rowe fight, but I'm not in love with it. I imagine the under hasn't moved much because Alex is favored to win. He's a bit of a decisionator, but he was close to finishing him in the first fight. Yeah, he dropped him twice, like early-ish first round, and then at the end of the first round, Nico kind of got saved by the bell. And you're right, Morono doesn't have much power, but I don't think he needs much power at this point to put out Nico. Lima, yeah, there's some interesting takedown props this week. I don't know. I think he might get one takedown here, but I'm not entirely sure. What is up, Marvin? What is up, Marvin? Good to see you in here. Mark saying I've taken a few good ones on my chin in the day. You're sick, Mark. you're sick. Fat Romanov by quit job. I think somebody's quitting in that fight. Brady, let's pray Nico never gets a divorce because his child support is going to be insane for like 6 kids. I think it's like honest. I think it's like eight kids. Yeah, I don't think he will. But yeah, Nico Price is such a good guy, man. But he's just taking a ton of damage. All right, we'll move on to the next fight. By the way, if you guys have not already, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be going live tomorrow for Best Bet, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Have a stacked panel. Myself, your Uncle Weezy, Luke, and Couch Warrior, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm going to look out for the betting breakdown video, which is going to drop this evening. Going to try to record this by like 7. All right. Moving on to the next fight, we have Jake Matthews going against Phil Rowe. Like I said earlier, there's 2 fights on this card where I want nothing to do with him. This is one of them. I like Jake Matthews here, and I like him quite a bit. It's just Jake Matthews is one of those guys and there's a couple guys on this card. He's one of those guys that you just can't trust. He's so inconsistent. He makes terrible decisions in the cage, and he's just a guy you don't want to lay chalk on. With that said, I think he has all the tools to go out there and look like a big favorite. It's just, he's dropped the ball so many times in the past where, I don't want to really get bit by Jake Matthews at chalk, especially. But yeah, I think this is a case of minute winner versus moment winner. Phil Rowe has a 100% finish rate. He's never won a decision, and I think there's a reason for that. He's not a great minute winner. On the feet, he's kind of low volume, very hittable, and then he just has 0 takedown defense. And you look at Phil Rowe in every single fight in the UFC. It's a comeback win. His opponents are having success early. They're gassing out like a Kosi, like a Witt, like even that guy on the Contender Series as well, Shabazian. And they're getting even Nico Price. Nico Price was looking good early, and then Nico gassed out. It's a come from behind win. And Jake Matthews isn't going to slow down like a Kosi. And Jake Matthews, although not the most durable, he has better durability than a guy like Witt. So I'm kind of thinking Jake Matthews by decision. But Jake Matthews is so tough to trust. Let's see. Best price on Jake Matthews, like minus 160-ish. If I bet on Jake Matthews and he pulls a stun, it's just that's just something that'll keep you up late at night. So the pick is absolutely Matthews. Phil Rowe's a popular dog, though. People liking some Rowe this week, and I think a lot of it has to do with the inconsistency of Jake Matthews. So, but yeah, this is a pass for me. From a DraftKings perspective, like I said a second ago, like this is a fight you're kind of forced into playing a little bit. If this was a 14-fight slate with a better mid-range, maybe I'd get away from this fight a little bit, but with Jake Matthews, I think in a win, he could potentially score decent. Then Phil Rowe, a guy with a 100% finish rate. Those guys should never be ignored on DraftKings. So I'm getting to this fight a little bit on DraftKings, but that's just because you kind of have to with the terrible mid-range options this week. I got to a play on Make Matthews by TKO. I think I saw it at like plus 550. Yeah, maybe Phil Rowe he's very hittable. He's been hurt a lot. I do think Phil Rowe is durable. His recoverability is good, but he has been hurt a lot. Talk about a 100 gambler fight about 2 of the most unreliable guys as it gets. Agreed. Jake Matthews extremely unreliable. Phil Rowe extremely unreliable, and I just haven't been impressed with any performance yet. Grant Dawson under 33.5 significant strikes. I would lean that way. Unless they do that thing where it's grappler versus grappler. They just stand and strike for 15 minutes. If that happens, it is going over. But I do think this fight is going to hit the mat. 176 viewers and 11 likes. Smash. I mean, if I have only 11 likes, I probably should just head out at that. I probably should just quit at that point. I mean, that'd be embarrassing. I think you might have to refresh. I don't know why it does, but I think it might have to refresh, Mark. But if I do have 11 likes, something's up. Parlayed the 2-3 props for Rowe. I mean, that's when he wins. Jake Matthews went to a decision with Diego Sanchez. Don't remind me. Yeah. Because I was definitely on Jake Matthews to finish Diego Sanchez. Yeah, that was bad, man. Jake entering his prime. Yeah, he's been. I don't know. There's some fights where he's looking really good, and then there's some fights where he's looking really bad. Dr. Phil's gonna have Jake questioning things. I like that, Dr. Phil. 38. It's not bad. It's not bad. Actually, it is kind of poor, but um, we still have some time. We still have some time to get those likes up. Holland by sub. We will certainly get there. And Jacob will be back later. Okay, Jacob, I see that you'll be back later, and I'll talk to you in a little bit. And Rowe is certainly not Darius Flowers. He's certainly not. Yeah, I feel like he's been in his prime for a while. I don't know. There's some fights where he does look like he's in his prime, right? So Jake Matthews is like a weird fighter. But we'll move on to the next fight, and I have a lot of action on this main card in general. Well, this isn't even the main card. It kind of feels like it with how good this fight is. At least I think this fight is gonna be very good. It's Grant Dawson going against Joe Solecki. So there are a few spots I do like here. And the first one is that I think makes a lot of sense is Grant Dawson round 3 or decision. I think the majority of the time this fight does go the distance, and I think it is a great spot for Grant Dawson. Hence the line. Was I expecting him to get to minus 600? No, actually I wasn't. I saw him at like minus, what was he, like minus 315, 300 earlier in the week, like on a Sunday. Was looking at maybe parlaying him up with something. I was looking at maybe parlaying Dawson up with like the main event, like fight doesn't go or the under 4.5, something like that. But I didn't get to it. And this line's been blown out ever since. And I think that the steam is certainly warranted because, a path to victory for Joe Solecki, I don't know. Is he going like Dawson when he loses, he's lost twice. It's by knockout. And Joe Solecki has a grand total of 0 knockouts. So if Grant Dawson gets knocked out by Joe Solecki, it'd be embarrassing. So I don't think that's happening. And then in terms of like who's going to win minutes, I mean, who's the much better wrestler? It's Grant Dawson all day. Who has the much better cardio? It's Grant Dawson all day. I think Grant Dawson should have no problem getting the fight down to the mat, getting on top, and then most importantly, getting into dominant positions. So yeah, for me, the main spot is that round 3 decision. I mean, Dawson's minus 600 on the money line. The round 3 decision, I got it at minus 137. I think it's moved a tad, or maybe it's still there. But I like the round 3 decision. I have 1 unit on that, and then also, you guys know what it is. It is death, taxes, and Grant Dawson round 3. It's always Grant Dawson round 3. So if you are going to bet the decision prop, add the round 3 decision there because he has multiple round 3 finishes. I don't know what it is. It's like he has a fetish for getting round 3 finishes. It's always in round 3. The Matson fight, the Gordon fight, so on and so forth. The Minner fight was in round 2, but Minner has only 5 minutes of cardio. So I think Grant Dawson round 3 is super live at plus 1,000. Have a quarter unit on that. And then I also sprinkled some Grant Dawson 2-3 KO props. Why not? Let's get a little wild. Grant Dawson round 2 KO, 0.15 units plus 1,700. Grant Dawson round 3 KO, 0.1 units plus 2,400. Obviously, subs more likely, but Joe Solecki is a black belt. He's never been subbed, and it's one of those things where I'm almost certain Grant Dawson's going to get takedowns. I'm almost certain Grant Dawson's going to get control time. And I'm almost certain that Grant Dawson is going to get into dominant positions. And when you're in dominant positions, that those TKO opportunities are going to add up. So I'm looking to hit the trifecta. I'm looking to hit the Dawson round 3 decision, first and foremost. I'm looking to hit the round 3 in general. And then I'm looking to hit the round 3 by knockout, get a little silly for UFC 302. And then I have the round 2 KO just in case it does come in round 2. But yeah, give me Dawson here, and I think I'm only like 1.5 units invested in this fight. It sounds like I have a lot more than I do, but that's kind of how I'm seeing it. I think Grant Dawson's very live to break Joe Solecki and finish him in the later rounds here, or win a dominant decision. From a DraftKings perspective, like I said earlier, Dawson's not a terrible pivot off of like an Islam who's going to be 1,000,000% owned, off of a Gilton Almeida, off of Kevin Holland. Just because the path for Dawson is the wrestling, is the control time. He's not a terrible pivot, but there are some guys I do like a little bit more. Oh, remember when everyone thought he threw the Bobby Green fight? Yeah, that was weird. That was, I mean, I thought about maybe actually playing Bobby Green 3-4-5 knockout. And if I did, I would have been kind of pissed because he knocked him out in 20 seconds. But yeah, I was not expecting nothing like that. Don't listen to Brady Selecki by KO. Plus 2,200 is a stone cold lock. Like somebody said on our show, it could be like the Jesus Aguilar situation. Jesus Aguilar had 0 knockouts, and then he went out there and sparked Shannon Ross. So it could be one of those situations. And if Joe Selecki does somehow knock out Dawson, I think it's round 1 as well, which the round 1 KO is like plus 5,000. But that would be just a really, really shocking and embarrassing outcome, I think. Dawson's only occasional weakness is the chin, but Selecki has major pillow hands. Only KO win was 7 years ago by ref stoppage against the 5-9 guy. This should be Grant all day. I agree with you, and the odds certainly agree with that as well. And yeah, I didn't mind Grant Dawson as a parlay piece Monday, but now you don't want to be parlaying really anybody at minus 600, but you probably don't want to be parlaying Grant Dawson at minus 600. I think it's getting a little silly at this point. All right. Moving on to the next fight, we have a Roman Kopylov going against Cesar Almeida. I'm really looking forward to this fight. We have a striker versus striker matchup and another fight where I do like violence. This is a fight where I think these guys are just going to stand and bang. With that said, I have a funny feeling that Kopylov's going to wrestle here. And if he does wrestle, I kind of think that's a mistake, and I'll tell you why. Why I do think it's a mistake is I don't think Kopylov has the cardio to wrestle for 15 minutes. And Almeida's takedown defense is actually really good, and his grappling's actually, halfway decent. So, Kopylov, if he does wrestle, I think he might have some success, but I think he's going to gas out if he does so. But primarily, I do think this fight is going to take place standing. I think these guys are going to stand and bang, and I like some type of violence here. The way I did play it was I bet the fight to end in round 2 and end in round 3, and here's why. Roman Kopylov has 15 fights, and only one of those fights have ended in the first round, believe it or not. Win or lose, Roman Kopylov, his fights are finishing in the second or third round. It's a ton. It happens all the time, and that's why I bet Roman Kopylov round 2 against Ribeiro. That's why I bet Anthony Fluffy Hernandez round 2 against him. That's why I always bet, fight ends round 2, round 3 in these Kopylov fights because it just keeps on happening. You gotta kind of follow the trend, and that's the trend with this guy. So yeah, I think somebody gets finished here. I think somebody gets served here in that second or third round. I think it's going to more than likely be attritional as well. I could see either guy maybe slowing down as the fight goes on. But yeah, I think somebody's getting finished in the second or third round. So that's how I played it. Half unit fight ends in round 2 plus 420. Half unit fight ends in round 3 plus 700. If this fight does end in round 1, it's probably Cesar Almeida getting the knockout. So yeah, this line's obviously moved a ton. If you don't have a bet on Almeida, I'd be shocked because everybody does this week, and he's now like minus 120. So if you don't have a bet on Almeida, you certainly missed the boat. And I would not play him at chalk, but I think it's a close fight. I think Kopylov can definitely mix in some takedowns here, make it competitive, but I think somebody ultimately is getting served, and that's my favorite spot. From a DraftKings perspective, I don't mind this fight. It's in the mid-range. These guys are going to stand and bang. I do see a finish here. So yeah, I like this fight, and I'm going to be targeting it pretty decently on DraftKings. Fight of the night, it could be. This definitely has fight of the night potential. That's certainly for sure. Fight doesn't go at plus 120 is good on the Dawson fight. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think Dawson's very live to cook Joe Selecki and finish him in the later rounds. Almeida inside the distance plus 215. Yeah, if you miss the Almeida line, I think Almeida inside the distance or the KO is probably not much better. But yeah, plus 215. I think if he is winning this fight, he's probably breaking Kopylov, who's just very breakable. And he's been broken a lot. Carl Roberson broke him. Fluffy Hernandez broke him. Albert Juraya broke him. So yeah, I don't mind it. Roman getting it done here. I did the film study. I still don't understand the hype. Well, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but Cesar Almeida did beat Alex Pereira And I think that has a lot to do with it. Not saying he's not a really good striker. He is, but that's kind of like the big narrative here. I'm on the under 2.5 here, but I like Brady's call. The fight ending in rounds 2 or 3 better. I'm just hoping it doesn't end in round 1. That'd be pretty annoying. But you'd hit the under. But yeah, Kopylov, he's had one fight end in round 1, which is crazy. Kopylov can be broken with wrestling. Can a striker break him, though? That tends to be what Roman does. It'd be like the leg kicks adding up, the body kicks adding up of Almeida, because Almeida does have very nasty leg kicks. But I think somebody's getting broken. All right, moving on to the next fight. We have Randy Brown going against Elizeu Zaleski. Dos Santos, I do not have a bet on this fight. This is the only fight on the main card where I don't have a bet. I typically don't bet Randy Brown fights anymore. I think I retired from betting on Randy Brown. I think it was either the Trinaldo fight or the Turman fight, which I cashed both those bets. It's just, betting on Randy Brown in those fights took years off my life. Like I laid minus 250 or something on Randy Brown against Trinaldo, and I borderline thought he was going to lose that fight when they were reading the decision. Luckily, he won, but it's like every time this guy fights, like all these fights are a lot closer than the line indicates. I don't think he has the best durability. And yeah, this fight probably is close. I like the fact that Brown is much younger, much bigger as well. But I don't know. I don't trust Randy Brown. There's guys on this card who I just don't trust. Randy Brown, culprit number 1. We'll put Kevin Holland culprit number 1 because Kevin Holland is probably the least trustworthy fighter in the entire UFC, let alone this card, even though I have a bet on Holland this week. But yeah, Holland, super untrustworthy. Randy Brown, super untrustworthy. Jake Matthews, super untrustworthy. I think Alex Morono, untrustworthy. So there are some fighters who I just don't trust on this card, and Randy Brown is certainly one of them. So yeah, for me, the pick is going to be Randy Brown. But can't get there. I think this fight could play out close. What is he, minus 175? Can't get there. Can't do it. But in terms of a pick, I will pick him to win. We don't got to bet on every fight, and this is one of the fights I am personally passing on. And also don't really love this fight from a DraftKings perspective as well. I think there's other fights I do like. Let's see. Brown is minus 185 on Unibet. I want to bet him. I don't. I mean, I think you'll hit that bet, but I think you'll be like yelling at your TV. Like it happens all the time with Randy Brown. You're yelling at your TV. Come on, Brown, do something. Come on, Brown, get up. It's just a pain I don't want to experience for a while. That could be a good look, and split. If it does go the distance, I imagine it's close. So. I don't know. Every time I bet a split decision prop, it's never worked out. I'm 0 for 9 on split decision props, something like that. Even in fights that were clear split decisions, I still don't get it. Like the Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Cody Stamann, I was there live. The fight was razor thin. It was a unanimous decision for Andrade. The Chris Curtis Gastelum fight, I bet the split decision. It was very, very close, and it was unanimous. Like, I can't win. I can't win a split decision bet, and I retired from betting on those as well. Yeah, he beat him. I mean, you can't look into that fight too much. It was a long time ago, but that is a big talking point. Santos KO is interesting at plus 450. It is because Randy Brown, his chin is kind of sus. It's not great. He's been knocked out plenty of times. Kevin Holland's on my list of never bet again. He's on my list as well, but I was forced to bet on him in this matchup. Where does Randy Brown win here? This is tough considering Elizeu isn't bad on the feet. Elizeu isn't bad anywhere, really, but he is going to be at a pretty big size disadvantage here. Brown is much longer. I think Brown has a little bit more volume. But yeah, like I said, I think it could be close. Most confident pick, it is obviously probably Makhachev, and then Dawson is up there as well. Holland's very confident for me. Those would be like the 3. They're all pretty big favorites, but rightfully so. And then it'd probably be like I don't want to say Jilton, but maybe Jilton is up there. Brown, more significant strikes, opened up minus 130. Is it still there at minus 130? Because that's not a bad line. The C-Rod split against Bulgarian plus 1,000. Yeah, that fight still haunts me to this day. I had Christian Rodriguez to win in round 3 at, like, plus 2,200. Um, I'm still not sure how that didn't hit. I'm still not sure what went wrong there, but, it didn't hit. So that hurt, but at least, yeah, at least you cashed a big plus money number there. Yeah, I guess I'm confident. I'm more confident in Gall losing than I am like Hafez winning, if you know what I mean. Just I'm not big on Hafez, but at the same time, it's tough to pick Mickey Gall. All right, let's keep moving on. We have the people's main event, Jailton Almeida going against Alexander Romanov. So DraftKings opened up early lines, which was awesome. I wish other sports books would do this more, like FanDuel, DraftKings, Bet Rivers 365. I wish they would open up props a lot earlier than Bet Online, who Bet Online's always first to get them out, which is awesome. But yeah, I would like to see DraftKings do that more often. And they got open these props on the main card, and then me and Weezy were on the phone and we were talking, and then we were like, they have the Romanov Almeida under 1.5 at like plus 120. They had the fight won't start round 3 at like minus 135. They had the under 2.5 at minus 185. They have the fight doesn't go decision at minus 240, which none of those lines are anywhere close to being where those open, right? Now they're all completely smashed, and rightfully so. And I was sitting there thinking, what do I want to play? Do I want to play that under 1.5? If I want to play the fight won't start round 3, but I did opt for the under 2.5 just because I think this does finish under 1.5, but I do like that extra round, and I don't think Romanov has the cardio to go 12.5 in this matchup specifically. So I'm on the under 2.5, minus 185 for 2 units. That line has got obliterated, and rightfully so. It's just a badly priced line. Jailton Almeida inside the distance has been completely obliterated. I think that opened up at like a pick'em, like minus 105, something like that. So yeah, money's coming in on violence, and I think rightfully so. So I have 2 units on the under 2.5. What I also have is fight to end by knockout, half a unit at plus 225. FanDuel had like plus 250. I missed that, but yeah, plus 225 for the fight ends by knockout. The reason being is I think a positional TKO is just super live here. I think both guys have a lot of quit in them. Neither guy's been subbed, and we've seen it. Like we've seen Romanov quit multiple times. We saw him quit in the Espino fight. We saw him quit in the Volkov fight. That Volkov fight was the worst display of cardio I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it was a terrible look. He gassed out in 60 seconds and got TKO'd by Volkov. And I just have a feeling whoever gets on top here is going to smash. I think they're going to smash, and I think the other guy is going to quit. I think that guy, though, that is going to quit is Romanov. I don't like the cardio of Romanov. I don't like the heart of Romanov. I don't like his ground game when he's on bottom as well. When he's on top of like Chase Sherman and that, it looks great. It's just when on bottom, I don't like what I see. So I think it's a good spot for Almeida to get back on track, get on top, and pound away at Alexander Romanov and get that TKO win. And I think he could even come early. I was looking at maybe the 2-3 KO, which they've been smashed all week. People are on them. I ended up passing on those because I think it could be in round 1. I mean, Romanov gassed out in round 1 before. It could happen again. And what I think is going to be a high-paced grappling affair here. So, yeah, give me Almeida KO1. Fight ends by knockout, under 2.5. If this fight does go the distance, it's not going to be good. Not going to be good. 2.5 units on this fight, which is probably way too much, but I do think somebody's going to get served here. And I think that somebody is probably Romanov. I think somebody's quitting here. I think both these guys have a little bit of quit in them. All right. So yeah, and then from a DraftKings perspective, love this fight. I think somebody's getting served. We got takedowns, control. We got everything in this fight. I think it's a borderline must target. Almeida takedown. I mean, this guy got 10 takedowns against Curtis Blades. So yeah, great fight to target on DraftKings. Jailton will win via diet and exercise. Romanov looked a lot better. People were making fun of him and stuff, but Romanov looked a lot better than I thought he was going to at weigh-ins, because there was a picture on his Instagram from a couple weeks ago, and he just looked in like really, really poor shape. There he is a couple weeks ago, just really poor shape. So I was expecting like the worst case scenario for the dude. But yeah, I thought he looked in, for Romanov standards, okay shape. Unless Romanov has a spinning fat kick in him. Oh, he's not spinning, man. He's not spinning. Probably screwed. Jalton by sub or KO plus Islam by sub plus Kevin plus sub by sub plus Eileen Perez over 1.5 plus Sean Strickland to win and over 2.5 rounds. I think that I think it could hit, man. I have something similar cooked up. I like that Islam by sub a lot. I like the Kevin Holland by sub. I really like all those, to be honest. Yeah, I like that. Brady, please share Prize Picks. Thanks. New here to your weigh-in streams. Yeah, there's a couple spots sticking out. I like we didn't even talk about it. I like the less on takedowns for Randy Brown. It's set at 0.5. I don't think he gets a takedown. They took the Perez takedowns off, but if they put him back on and they put it at 2.5, I like Perez to get more than 2.5 takedowns. I like Dawson to get less on the fantasy score. On Prize Picks, you don't get fantasy score, or you don't get fantasy points for control time or non-significant strikes, which I think there's going to be a lot in that fight. Yeah, there's a lot of spots taken. I mean, Dustin Poirier, there's a free square for Dustin Poirier to land one significant strike, and I think he lands one significant strike. So if you have not got on that, get on that. So yeah, a lot of things sticking out on Prize Picks this week I saw. Who else says, dang, Brady hit that while watching cards? I say it sometimes. Dang, I hit that. Cody Brundage, round one against Jacob Malkoun. Gosh. Yeah, there's been some crazy hits. Maybe we'll hit some of this card. Doesn't start round 3, is now minus 185. Yeah, I don't think this fight goes 10 minutes personally. I really like Jalton KO plus 333. Going to be hard to sub Romanov. He has no neck. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think it's a TKO, and we have seen Jalton get a couple TKOs in the UFC. Didn't he TKO Shamil? I know he TKO'd Danilo Marquez. Brady, have a bad feeling Romanov is just going to do nothing for round 1 and let Jalton ragdoll him to be death gassed round 2 again, and then Romanov is going to take over late. Romanov by split plus 2,200. If this fight does go the distance, which I have a hard time seeing that, if it does go the distance, it is probably some type of split. So, but I don't know. I don't think Romanov has the cardio, and in this fight, I don't think he has the cardio to go 15. Romanov loses via buffet. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we could see a draw. No Pub Sports Radio DK show this week. No, I don't know if you heard, but I am no longer, unfortunately, on Pub Sports. We moved the Stat Digger show to my channel, DFS by the Numbers. That's going to be on Sundays. Going forward, we're looking for maybe like a new home or a potential sponsor, but no luck yet. So, and then as far as the DK show goes, looking for maybe something in the works. Haven't been able to figure out. I think that like the time slot's the biggest thing at this point. The time slot, and then also where's it going to be? It's going to be on my channel. I don't know. I already have a ton of content on Wednesday, so I don't know. But yeah, no DK show this week, and looking at maybe cooking up something in the future, hopefully. Romanov round 3 toe hold. Could see a toe hold here. I think it's more likely Jalton gets that toe hold though. What's your favorite bet on the card? It's a tough question because I like everything about equally. There's nothing that I'm really like in love with. I guess it would be maybe that Dawson round 3 decision would probably be my favorite. But there's a lot of spots I do like. Let's see. Volkov versus Romanov was the original matchup. I think way better. Yeah, I agree. You're right. It was. And no, Pub Sport, they're all good guys. I have no problem with anybody on Pub Sport, so don't boycott them. I'm cool with everybody on there. And who knows, maybe I'll go back in the future. Do you like Nico Price fights not go the distance minus 200? Yes, I do like that. Do you think Jalton will look more for the finish early instead of laying and praying after the Blades fight? I would think so. And I think that Blades has just a much, like if Jalton's going out there and taking down Blades 10 times, Romanov's not getting up 10 times like Curtis Blades. I can assure you that. I think if he takes him down that many times, he's gonna quit. He's gonna look for a way out. He's gonna look for the door. We got Sniper with the 199. Appreciate you, Sniper. What are the 3 best legs for a submission parlay? Leg number 1 would be Islam Makhachev. And now I was trying to actually cook up a 3-leg submission parlay last night. And Makhachev is the 1 leg The next leg would probably be Kevin Holland by sub. And then the third leg, it gets a little tricky. But I do like those 2 legs. The third leg, I think maybe I really do like Almeida by KO, but maybe Almeida gets the sub, and then maybe Dawson would get the sub. Other than that, I don't think there's going to be a ton of subs on this card. But Islam and Holland are the 2 ones that make a ton of sense. Price by shock and KO win. It wouldn't shock me, man. We've seen Morono knocked out plenty of times. 76, and there we go. There we go. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. 76 legs. I will take that all day. And Sniper with another, how generous. 199, I appreciate you. Also, I love the show. And you, oh wow. Okay. Appreciate that, Sniper. Love doing it. It's I want to try going live more. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I can find something to talk about. But maybe start going live more since I'm no longer on Pub. Just do some different content potentially. And then also we have Contender Series coming up as well. So yeah, appreciate you, Sniper. Romanov can't even do 10 sit-ups. I mean, tomorrow I'll be posting a Romanov hype video that I always post, and you'll be surprised, man. This guy is he puts in some work. He does those band workouts, those resistant band workouts. Those aren't easy to do. And Romanov does them, and he does them well. So I'll be posting that tomorrow for Romanov Fight Day. Oh, do an Ask Brady. I don't want to steal Wheezy's bit. Wheezy doesn't ask Wheezy. I don't want to steal Wheezy's bit. Quiet down, hot boy. Jonathan proved me wrong in that fight. I thought Curtis would be able to defend takedowns. Yeah, I was on Jonathan there, and obviously I was very disappointed, but I was not expecting Jonathan to take down Blades 50 times. That was insane. All right. Let's keep moving on, guys. We have Kevin Holland going against Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. And I hate to say it, but I really like Holland in this matchup. And that's always even saying out loud is just terrifying. But I really like Kevin Holland in this matchup. If Kevin Holland loses this fight, he should be ashamed of himself. This will be his worst loss by a country mile. He should not lose this fight. It's a massive, massive step down in competition. And this is a short notice fight. This fight recently got put on the card, which favors Holland massively. There's Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, who I don't know what's going on with this guy. In his last fight against Michel Pereira, he was talking about how he's not with a camp anymore. He's not at a gym. Like he's working out in his garage or whatever. It's not good. And I'm not sure he's found a gym yet at this point, since he has taken this fight on short notice. So is he even taking this serious? Does he even want to be here? I'm not sure. So there's that. And then on top of that, Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, he does slow down in every single fight that reaches the second round. And then on short notice, especially, I think he will. But I even think Holland could potentially finish here in the first round. So yeah, there's a couple obvious spots on this fight, and I think we're all kind of thinking the same thing. It's Kevin Holland by sub, and since we're all thinking the same thing, we're not getting a great line. These Kevin by sub props have been smashed, and Holland sub 2, sub 3 makes a lot of sense, but they've all been smashed. So I'm not on those. I think they're live, but I'm not on those. But I just played Kevin Holland inside the distance, 1.5 units, minus 105. Just because it could be sub, it could be club and sub. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk's been submitted 6 times. It could be knockout. It could be knockout as well. Kevin Holland has a lot of power. It could be 2-3. I mean, I think Kevin Holland can win in any which way, in any round, by any method. So I just took the inside the distance. I don't want to get burned if Holland knocks him out in the first round, and I don't want to be burnt if it's a sub or not. I just want the inside the distance. So yeah, I like Holland here, and I like him a lot. But Holland's one of those guys where you bet on this guy, whether it's a prop, a money line, and you're just, at the end of the night, you're looking at yourself in the mirror crying, breaking down, crying and saying, why did I do that? Why did I bet on Kevin Holland? Why did I put money on this guy's an idiot? Kevin Holland's an idiot. Why did I put any money on Kevin Holland? And then you can't sleep at night because you're just thinking about it. And So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go crazy on it, but I do think Kevin Holland should go out there and smoke this guy and smoke him by any which way, any way he wants to. So yeah, Holland inside the distance, decent size play on it. I think it's one of my biggest plays of the week, just 1.5 units. And then also Holland on DraftKings makes a ton of sense to me. If you want to sprinkle some Oleksiejczuk because Kevin Holland is a notorious stunt puller and has no fight IQ, then that's fine. But I think Holland has some solid upside there. Yeah, me and Weezy were talking about the sub 2, sub 3 for Caesar Almeida at like plus 5,000, plus 6,000, just because Kopylov has been subbed in 2-3 before. Roberson subbed him in the third, and Fluffy subbed him in the second. That would be crazy. So I wonder if Weezy's going to get on those for some money. How late are you today? About an hour. About an hour late. Let's see. Holland sub over 3.5 minutes on DK's plus 400. I don't mind it. Don't mind it. If Holland loses, I agree. If he loses to, I mean, Holland talked about retiring after losing to Hamzat. Like, that's not a bad loss. If you lose to Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, there's a serious problem. Stay up all night thinking about it. It sounded too. I mean, yeah, you guys know. You guys made bad bets before. I made bad bets before. You wake up in the middle of the night out of nowhere just screaming, why did I bet on Gina Mazzani? It happens. And Kevin Holland's one of those guys. I've done my fair share of screaming. I want to bet Kevin by sub and sub 2-3, but I think it's going to be one of those fights where you scream at your TV, grapple. Oh, yeah. Oh, don't expect Kevin Holland to grapple here. Don't expect him to get any takedowns here, any rest. Don't expect Kevin Holland to fight smart in this fight or ever. But with that said, Club and Sub is super live. Club and Sub is super, super live. I told my friends to bet Holland inside the distance when he went to the Moody Center and he choked out Tim Means. Yeah, I had Holland inside the distance there too. I had Holland inside the distance against Ponzinibbio. I made a now that I think about it, I made a good amount of money on this guy, but I've also lost a good amount of money on this guy as well. So it all evens out. And actually, my bet on Caesar by sub plus 2,000, probably 0.1 units. Why not? I mean, Kopylov loves to tap, and Caesar's grappling is actually pretty good. Why did I bet on Thomas to train Peterson? Oh, God. 3.5 unit. Yeah, I remember that. I woke up in a cold sweat saying that a time or two. Yeah, I had Peterson to win in round 1 or round 2 for like a half a unit or 0.75, and even that hurt me. That hurt me bad. But we'll move on to the next fight. We got the co-main event. Sean Strickland going against Paulo Costa. And yeah, the only thing I like here is the over. I have 1 unit on the over 2.5 minus 160. That's all I think I'm touching here. I think this fight goes over. I think it probably does go the distance if Costa's cardio is able to hold up. It's a typical Sean Strickland fight. It's 5 rounds. This fight's probably going the distance. If it does end early, it's probably Costa knocking out Strickland. But the last time Costa knocked somebody out was like a million years ago. And after that Luke Rockhold fight, I find it hard to believe that Costa's knocking out Sean Strickland in this fight. So yeah, I think it goes 25. I'm not going to be going out there and laying like minus 1. Oh, he's not minus 1. He's minus 245. Minus 2. You don't want to lay that price on Sean Strickland. Certainly not. But I do think he wins this fight. I do think there's better ways to play him. I think live betting Sean Strickland makes a ton of sense. Like Paulo Costa, his best round is going to be in the first round. I'd be fairly shocked if the first round wasn't at the very least super competitive, if not Paulo Costa winning that first round. But as the fight goes on, it's going to favor Sean Strickland more and more. It's going to favor Paulo Costa less and less. But I think this fight could be a little bit closer than this line does indicate for a couple of reasons. I think this fight's going 25 minutes, and we've seen some weird scorecards in the Sean Strickland 5-round main events. Some weird scorecards. I mean, these judges, they suck. They're terrible. They're blind. And I don't think they have the attention span to last 25 minutes, to watch the 25-minute fight. So I think they fall asleep, and that's why we're getting some of these weird, terrible scorecards in these Strickland fights. So I would just be wary of that. But yeah, the pick Sean Strickland by decision. Just give me the over 2.5 and just rooting for this fight to last 12 and a half minutes. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you guys know that I don't bet overs ever, but this is an over that I do like. The last over I did bet was Court McGee versus Alex Morono, and it came through. So I'm hoping this over comes through as well. And I think this fight does go to decision. From a DraftKings perspective, I'm going to have a fair share of both fighters. If this fight was 3 rounds, I'd probably look at maybe getting away from it a bit. But the fact of the matter is it's 5 rounds. Both these guys have really good volume. That volume is going to add up over 25. So yeah, Sean Strickland in a win probably gets anywhere from 100 at the very least significant strikes, maybe upwards of 150 or even more significant strikes. Those are going to add up. And then Paulo Costa, he's high volume in his own right. He's super tough, super durable. He can go 25 himself. We've seen it before. So yeah, I like Paulo Costa in cash games a ton, just for that durability, that floor. And then in a win, Paulo Costa, scores very well himself too. So great fight to target on DraftKings with the 5-round nature of things. All right. What is my win rate? From a prediction standpoint, I'm not sure. I know there's somebody that keeps track of that. I think Brian on Twitter keeps track of that. The win rates on the bets, I think I'm up like 117 or 18 or 19 units track since I started tracking. But yeah, I'm not sure what the win rate is on the picks. But somebody keeps track of that. Costa with the upset. Yeah, I think he's live actually, but curious your logic of not betting over. So there is no logic to it, to be honest. The logic is I want to live a long life. I want to not die when I'm, 40 years old. I hate betting over. I mean, just sitting there, just not even yelling at the TV, just praying that they don't throw anything, that they don't do anything. Whenever I have an over on a fight, it doesn't matter who's fighting. It could be, I don't know, insert the worst finisher ever. It could be that guy. And I can't even watch the fight. I got to turn it off. I got to go for a walk. I can't do it. I hate betting overs. So it's like a mental thing for me. But if there's an over I really do like, I will play it. And I have played them and I've had success with them. So, but yeah, it's not going to be like a reoccurring thing. It's something that comes up whenever something makes sense. Like the Alex Morono Court McGee over, it made sense. This over, I think, makes some sense. The Sean Strickland fight. Let's see. Costa, yeah, there's been big talks about Staff all week on Twitter. I'm on the Strickland plus 3.5. Feels like it's a little safer than the Strickland decision just because you never know. But the thought of Paulo's kicks are making me nervous, to be honest. You mean the plus 5.5? Good to know, Patrick. That's like betting an under in a basketball game. Sucks watching them make, but yeah, exactly. Yeah, the last over was that the Morono McGee, but I did have the over in the Bueno Silva fight as well versus, I forget who she fought, but that fight was about to go over. I think it was like 2 minutes away from going over, something like that, and then Mara Bueno gets the sub. So yeah, there's been times where you get burnt. Does betting ruin your enjoyment of watching fights to a certain extent? I mean, sometimes. Like if Keith Peterson F's me over, then yeah, it's gonna ruin my enjoyment. I don't want Keith Peterson to F me, which he has plenty of times. So it all depends. There's ups, there's downs. Why did the weigh-ins get delayed, dude? Because I'm still going. I'm still live. So I think they're waiting until I'm done, and then they'll go. I think they're going over like 5:20. I'd say so. Who will be the first fighter to blame the new glove? I think the majority of them probably will. Who will be the first one? I don't know. There's already been some fighters complaining about him. I think like Sean Strickland was complaining about him. I think Poirier was complaining about him. There'll be some complaints for sure. All right, we'll move on to the main event. If you guys haven't already, smash the like button. Last time I checked, we were at 78, which is an okay number. It's not the best number in the world. 100 would be cool. I could get down with that. So yeah, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Betting breakdown video out tonight. Best bet out tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Stacked panel, big show. Looking forward to it. But we have Islam Makhachev going against Dustin Poirier, and we have Islam Makhachev sitting as a minus 645 favorite. And yeah, for me, from a money line standpoint, we'll start with the money line at first. Is this line way too wide? Yeah, it is. It is. But nothing is wrong with passing, at least for me, because do you want to lay minus 645 on Islam? No, you don't. You absolutely don't want to do that. But at the same time, a bet on Dustin Poirier, I just feel like he's going to lose this fight, and I'm fairly confident he loses this fight. So, but there are some props I do like here. So the props I do like, and I have quite a few. So first off, I like Islam by sub. It's simple. I mean, Islam by sub. This guy's a minus 700 favorite. How's he going to win this fight? Sub. I would be shocked if he won a decision. I think that the TKO is more live than decision. I don't think this fight's going 5 rounds. So I think Islam sub at plus money. I think it makes a lot of sense considering this guy is like minus 700 to win. So I like the sub. I'm on it for 0.75 units. And then I'm also on the 2, 3, and 4 round props for Islam. I don't think he gets to round 4, but the reason being is Dustin Poirier, you look at his 5-round fights, a lot of them are finishing in the 2nd or 3rd or 4th round. I believe over 50% of his 5-round fights have finished in round 2 or round 3. He's one of those guys where the over 1.5 in Dustin Poirier fights hit quite a bit, but his fights are typically finishing shortly after that, late 2nd, 3rd round. They typically don't go, it's weird. They go over 1.5, but they go under 2.5 a lot of times. So they're finishing like that area there. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm seeing it. I think Islam is going to get the fight down to the mat. I think he wins the first round. I'm hoping he doesn't submit Poirier at the end of the first, because I could potentially see that. But I think Dustin, at the very least, can survive these first 5 minutes. And then I think it's going to be all Islam from there. I think he eventually gets into a dominant position and wraps up the neck. Probably like a rear naked choke. So yeah, I like Islam here. Islam by sub. I'm not going to overthink it. It's Islam by sub for me. I think that's the most likely scenario, and it's plus money. And then I also sprinkled a 2, 3, 4. Like I said, round 2, I got it plus 450. It's now actually better at plus 475 for 0.75 units. I think it happens in round 2. So I went the heaviest on that. I have round 3 for a half a unit at plus 750. And then I have a quarter unit sprinkle on round 4 at like plus 1,300. So looking for an Islam sub, preferably in round 2, 3, or 4 for a solid payout there. If you're on Dustin, I guess the money line is it's a big number, but I think it would probably be KO. But I just don't think Islam's going to give him many chances. So I like Islam sub in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round. And I know FanDuel and I think Bovada even, they have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. round combos. And I was looking at the Islam sub in rounds 1, 2, or 3 is plus 150 on Bovada. I don't mind that. I don't mind something like that. But yeah, give me Islam by sub. From a DraftKings perspective, I'm going to have a ton of Islam. The majority of my lineups are going to have Islam. But Dustin Poirier is certainly somebody you can't ignore because he's 6,700. There's not a ton of options I like down low. So it's going to be, it's almost like a 70-30 split in favor of Islam for me. Something around there. So yeah, give me Makhachev to get it done. All right. Any final comments, questions, or concerns, guys? I'm heading out of here. I got to mow the lawn. I wonder if I'll have time to do that. I don't know. But yeah, I got to mow the lawn. Let's see. 365 has Strickland more significant strikes at minus 150. That's crazy, dude. I'd much rather bet that than the money line. I'd be surprised if, yeah, that's a silly line. Minus 22.5 significant strikes for Strickland is pretty bad. Yeah, I would bet the minus 150 for the more significant strikes. If you bet Dustin, the KO is plus 700. He won't win a decision. Yeah, I don't think anybody's winning a decision here. And I don't think Dustin's getting that guillotine. I think it would be like a KO. Is placing 12-leg parlays a good idea or no? It's not something I would do, but everybody has their own strategies. A smart gambler bets with their head and not their heart. Therefore, I'm not smart gambler. Dustin by KO plus 700, going quite heavy, and I don't even care. It might be the last chance to bet on Dustin. It might be. This might be his last fight. BetMGM has Islam by Kimura Americana at plus 3,000. He's got one before worth the flyer. I don't know if I don't think he's getting that against Dustin, but it's a big number. It's a big number. I'm thinking rear naked choke, and I actually looked at the odds for that as well. They're giving you plus 175. Just trash. But yeah, it's fun to sprinkle these different submission props. Maybe I'll do one for Holland. Maybe that Darce. Yes, betting breakdown later. Watch the Sarah. I will. I got you. I'll watch him cut the grass. Hope I have time. What's safer, Islam by KO or sub, or just take Islam by sub? I really don't see. I mean, KO or sub is much safer. You're just laying a much bigger price tag. Like Islam KO or sub is like minus 270, whereas the sub is plus 100. Hill sub hit 4,700. Oh yeah, Angela Hill. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking Hill sub, but I was thinking Hill 2-3, which I didn't bet. Agreed. Yep, rear naked choke or arm triangle, either or. What if Dustin does just enough to survive the early onslaught of Islam's grappling and Islam gasses because of the staff and Dustin takes over? I don't think Islam's going to gas within the first 15 to 17 and a half minutes. If he does gas, I think it's going to be like late fourth. So yeah, I mean, if Dustin's able to survive late fourth, fifth, he will have a shot. And maybe those Dustin late KO props could be interesting. I hope not. I hope it's not Islam by flying knee, or I'm out about 2 units. I would lean so. I'm thinking it's Islam submission round 2. So yeah, I think it goes under 2.5. Most Poirier fights do go on. They go over 1.5, but they finish under 2.5. Opinion on Almeida by decision plus 650. I hope not, because I have a lot of money on the under and the fight ends by knockout. But yeah, if this fight goes to decision, I struggle to see a world where Romanov wins that decision. So it's a big number. All right. I think that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Had a good crowd here. If you guys could, one last time, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then be on the lookout for the betting breakdown video and the best bet show. Best of luck, everybody. We have a fun card for UFC 302, and let's try to make some money and enjoy, guys. All right. We'll see you later.